lives have taught me anything, it's that there's no real limit to crazy.
Like Carnage, Marvel's dangerously insane psychopath.
Yeah.
Or Lucy, the messed up murder lady from Elfenlied.
Elfenlied. It's German.
Yeah, whatever. He's whiz and I'm boom.
I always called it
And it's our
Elfenlied
job to
anyway.
analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win
A death battle. Ooh, the animation.
Cletus Cassidy didn't have the chance to be a well-adjusted adult because his entire family was already crazy. While Cletus
was
was
nuts.
just a boy, his father got sent to jail for killing his mother.
Which he did because she had tried to kill Cletus.
Which she did because Cletus had tortured and killed her dog Fifi.
Wow.
Go, Miss Cassidy. All dog murderers deserve death, even if they're 8. Right, Jack Spaniels? Good boy. Oh, and Cletus murdered his grandma, too, because she's kind of a bitch.
He didn't stop there and wound up burning down his own orphanage. Years later, he was finally arrested and convicted for 11 murders.
You mean the 11 murders they knew about?
But while in prison,
Yeah,
Cletus
true.
found that he wasn't alone. In fact, his cellmate just so happened to be Eddie Brock.
Eddie
Who you
Brock.
may know is that creepy
Venom.
guy covered in black ink called Venom.
That ink
I can't wait for the
is actually
movie
a
either.
symbiotic alien known as a Clinton. This symbiote bonded with Eddie, transforming him into a powerful and violent rival for the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
But what Eddie didn't know was it was pregnant. Oh, time to go out for cigarettes, Eddie.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine the symbiote being pregnant. I never would have imagined in my mind. I couldn't even fathom that. And speaking of like that little clip that they showed from Spider-Man 3, a lot of people didn't like that Venom from Spider-Man 3, but I actually like that Venom. Not to say and just because I like that Venom doesn't mean like I'm not a true Venom fan or whatever. I don't dislike that Venom from Spider-Man 3. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Well, the symbiotes actually reproduce asexually. When Eddie became Venom once again, the symbiote sort of oozed out its spawn and left it there.
Just like me and my dad. Well, this new symbiote immediately attached itself to Cletus, but unlike the Venom one, it merged through a cut on his skin, creating this suit made out of blood. Ew, that doesn't seem sanitary.
And together they became Carnage.
A fitting name for a psycho mass murderer. Cletus and his new symbiote quickly got up to what they knew best, creating maximum carnage. For that game, it was great.
And with his new superpowers, he was a vicious force to be reckoned with. He has the same superhuman strength, speed, and durability as Venom, and supposedly even greater, like a Venom 2.0.
He can shapeshift to make all sorts of killer weapons, like axes, swords, and spikes. He can even rip those weapons off himself or launch them at his victims. Have you ever tried ripping your fingers off and throwing them at people? Because that's just kind of what Carnage does.
The symbiote can also reach out with dozens of chaotic, blood-soaked
Camouflage,
tendrils,
possession,
perfect for strangling
regeneration,
the people who
shapeshifting,
doesn't
wall
wanna
crawling,
see
webbing.
him. With a single touch, Carnage can infect a person with a portion of his symbiote,
Wow.
controlling or torturing them at his leisure. He has unbelievable regeneration, and even if somebody finds a way to disable his suit, the Carnage symbiote lives inside
of his blood.
stream and can come back out through something as meager as a paper cut.
Also, the symbiote literally sees everything around it. It's kind of like wearing a suit made of eyeballs.
But let's say you're able to dodge his projectiles, outrun the tendrils, and get out of sight from the eyeball suit. You're still not safe. He will catch you because he can sprout wings and fly.
What the hell?
He is a really, really useful ability.
So he's able to fly, he's totally aware of everything around him, and he's full of blood? This guy's like a giant mosquito of death.
Sure. Carnage has said he's at least 10 times faster than the average man. But that's pretty modest, because Venom has shown he can move fast enough to catch up to a bullet after it's fired. And Carnage is frequently shown to be as fast or even faster than him. This puts Carnage over 1,500 miles per hour. Over twice the speed of
2
sound.
miles a mere
He's
second,
lifted
so
a
I think ripped in
50-ton
half.
tank, and he can overpower Spider-Man,
Travel through
whose
internet
best supported
wires.
strength feat was lifting that giant machine thing that weighed as much as a 1965
Spider-Man, Venom, Man, Wolf, and
which would put it
Deadpool.
around 130 tons.
Did you know those weird tendril things crawling around his body? When he wanted to find a missing journalist in New York, he climbed to the top of the Empire State Building and just stretched them all out over the city.
He found her by this coastline, and this building nearby looks a lot like the consolidated Edison plant between 14th and 15th Street.
Okay.
That's about 2 miles away.
And as a thank you for saving her, she shot Carnage in the head. Well, fine. Save your own ass next time, lady.
Hey, it was fine. Carnage's durability doesn't come from a sturdy build. Instead, his form is malleable and somewhat fluid. Technically, his human body still exists somewhere in that mass of blood, flesh, and writhing tentacles. But even when he's hit by a train, struck by missiles, or blasted apart by a tritium bomb, he can always just pull himself back together.
So long as there's a piece of him still around. Given the size of that blast, it looks like Carnage survived a blast worth 125 tons of TNT.
Very impressive. Also, he once smothered and survived a gene bomb designed to wipe out all of humanity except mutants.
He's even survived being ripped in half and thrown into space. Seriously, what kills this guy?
Well, he does share the same weaknesses as other symbiotes, namely extremely loud noises and heat.
Well, until he traded the sound one for a weakness against some Cthulhu-looking magic.
Carnage has been through a lot, but with 2 minds as one, he always gets back up to keep doing what he loves.
Murder, murder, and, you know...
Murder some more.
Carnage is chaos!
There are some mysteries the world holds which no one is meant
Elfen
to
Lied
know.
was a great anime.
Every day,
I liked it.
somewhere comes ever closer to destroying everything you
I never thought I would like this anime, but I
One
did.
such secret is the Diclona.
No big deal. They're just a race of crazy people who want to infect human beings to make more Dicloni and then wipe out all of humanity. Oh, look at the cute little horns. They look like kitty ears.
To accomplish this, the Dicloni would have to rely on their queen, Carnage, better known as Lucy.
Luckily for everyone, some important people figured this out and captured her. And now it's time for your
Oh, she was
holy
18?
warning.
I never knew that.
Right, Lucy's methods.
Like, they might have
let's
mentioned that
just
in
say
anime,
they're
but I
not for the
forgot.
faint of heart.
And let's also say that those lucky important people were about to get very, very unlucky. Jesus Christ, what's happening?
To truly understand, let's take a step back. As an infant, Lucy was abandoned by her parents and left alone to suffer a life of constant discrimination.
It was the hordes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, even the average kid hates growing up in an orphanage, but it was especially painful for her.
Until she found a stray puppy and decided to take care of it. That adorable little critter and her became best friends. And then the other kids from the orphanage went out and beat it to death and forced her to watch.
Those kids at that orphanage were such a-holes, bruh.
Well, no shit, she wants to kill everyone. Go ahead, Lucy. Tear up those little bastards. Whoa.
Now, when she did that, I didn't feel nothing for those kids. I say, you know what? That's what they deserve for killing that dog.
Damn.
This was the first time Lucy unleashed her psychokinetic vectors. As a Diclonius queen, Lucy is meant to use these vectors to
He's
infect
28 at
ordinary
once,
human beings
to the
with
length 7 feet. I remember that.
Oh, but she uses them for so much more.
For simplicity's
Low
sake,
frequency,
think of the vectors
intangible,
as
medium,
invisible
squeeze,
arms
lift, and
which
punch,
can
high,
strike
slashes like
through
blades,
Lucy
extreme,
can
invisible,
use
and
up to
explosive.
28 vectors with a normal range of about 6 to 7 feet. When she gets
I remember
really
that, when
serious,
they were trying to
her
figure out how
moves
long
grow
those things
and the
could go.
vectors get way
And then she had a
longer
limit.
and stronger.
She can vibrate her vectors at different frequencies, and each level of vibration has different effects.
Kind of like that thing that my ex-wife had on the
Oh, my
nightstand that I
God.
thought was one of those crazy pens.
At low frequencies, her vectors can pass through objects with no effect.
I remember
At a
that.
medium frequency, the vectors become solid, like extendable hands, while still completely invisible. These can be used as shields and lift heavy objects.
Oh man, if I had those things, I'd be messing with people all the time. Like tying their shoes from across the
Bro, those
room.
kids was such...
Also,
Yeah,
since
if
this
y'all haven't
seems
watched
to
the
be
anime, y'all need to
sound,
just
she can
understand.
It's not really flying, she's just lifting herself off the ground.
Yeah.
With the third frequency, Lucy turns her vectors into invisible
Ooh.
blades. These can cut through people and bend metal.
And with the last and highest frequency, Lucy gets explosive. No, really, at this level, they finally become visible and can strike with enough force to detonate. Damn! They don't call this chick the queen for nothing.
Unfortunately, Lucy is not always in control of what she does.
Yeah.
Turns out she has developed several alternate personalities.
Yeah, getting
Truly.
shot in the head can do that to you.
That injury specifically created Mew, a passive, almost childlike persona which exists as a coping mechanism for Lucy's trauma.
Yep.
As Mew, Lucy would finally find friends and began forging a path toward hopeless redemption.
Unlike her third personality, the so-called DNA voice, which constantly whispers in her ear that she's got a job to do. Kill them all, Lucy, before they hurt more puppies. Ooh, I'm free DNA.
She could do it too. Lucy's fast enough to block bullets from a point-blank range. And once, she actually saved herself from a bullet after she had already been shot.
Yep.
As in, while the bullet was traveling between her skin and her heart.
It looks like she's getting shot by an MP5, which fires bullets at nearly 900 miles per hour.
With her body type, the distance between Lucy's skin and heart is less than an inch, probably around 2.4 centimeters. Given the bullet speed and the distance her vector would have to reach from her back before the bullet hit her heart,
Praise
her
the
vector
math
had
that
to
these
go nearly
dudes do for
1900
these
miles
death
per hour.
battles.
That's over twice the speed of sound.
She can throw a pen through a guy's skull. Brutal. And even toss this giant boulder.
When compared to this guy, Bando, whom we know is 6 feet tall, we can determine the boulder weighs about 75 tons. Her vectors are also tough enough to block a missile from the Air Force. While the exact model of missile is unspecified, it is fairly large and likely an air-to-surface type.
I bet it's one of the Air Force's SLAMs, or standoff land attack missile, built off the back of the Navy's Harpoon missile. In fact, a Harpoon is used against a different Diclonius at one point. So this beast slammed into her vector at 500 miles per hour with a 1,000-pound explosive yield, and it didn't even phase her. Even without a vector shield, she survived a pretty nasty explosion herself, though it did knock her out.
Impressive, but how about the time she punched through an island? A strike literally compared
Wow.
to nuclear fusion. This kicked up a 100-foot tidal wave and a 9.2 magnitude earthquake. A level so high, there's only been 4 comparable quakes ever recorded.
Her vectors can be as wide as buildings and reach into outer space, except that's about when Lucy reaches her limit.
Right. As a Diclonius, Lucy has a few severe weaknesses. Her vectors can be nullified if she's struck in the forehead, or if one of her horns are broken.
Also, if Lucy pushes herself too hard, she starts to melt. Kinda like ice cream out in the Texas sun. It's
Melt.
not pretty. She's just
Aye.
a big puddle of goop with a face, but she's still a total badass, even at her meltiest.
While suffering agonizing pain, she was capable of single-handedly halting a massive military threat, while healing and protecting the person she loved most. Perhaps redemption wasn't so hopeless after all.
Hey, let's watch her kill some more people.
The music. Really? You had to put in this music?
All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
But first, you'd be crazy not to get in on this deal.
Of course, Blue Apron.
By now, you've...
Of course, by Blue Apron. Okay. Skip over this, and there we go. Okay, now, who do y'all think is gonna win? Now, I'm not sure. Like, I kind of think Carnage is gonna win. I'm thinking Carnage is gonna win. I don't know. I just feel like he is. I feel like he's. I feel like he's stronger. I feel like he's stronger and has like, and definitely more endurance than Lucy does. Yeah, like I'm gonna just say Carnage. I'm gonna just say Carnage. Let me know in the comments who y'all think is gonna win. The animation is cool. It's not gonna stop Carnage. like Carnage can't touch her, and she's just gonna keep ripping him apart. Ooh. It's still not gonna stop Carnage. Yeah, see, I feel like she's about to reach her, or at least close to reaching her limit. Where Carnage can kind of take all this punishment. Dang. Yeah, see, like she's in a corner. Now they're at the explosive frequency.
Does it hurt yet? Don't worry.
Bro, the animation is on point.
I'll put you out of your misery.
I don't think that's it. Is that? Oh, guess so.
First those kids
Oh, I was
in the
wrong.
orphanage, then Cletus. Lucy really hates dog killers, and for good reason.
Carnage was a challenging opponent.
It
was
looked like
incredibly difficult for Lucy to deal any lasting damage against him.
He had the durability and
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna read this. While Carnage has the power to infect and control other people, he has only instigated such possession through an initial physical connection and cannot do so through his project. Oh, okay. So he has to physically like touch somebody in order to infect them, but he can't like throw a piece of himself and infect somebody. Got it.
advantage in the bag. Though Lucy fighting as a puddle proved she could take a lot of pain and keep on fighting.
True.
Sadly, Carnage came up short in pretty much everything else.
Right, Carnage was tough, but not invincible. Even his surviving that gene bomb isn't quite as impressive as it sounds. Since he had no other feats to even remotely back up planetary level durability,
True.
the bomb was more akin to a biological weapon anyway. While Carnage's tendrils could pass speeds of Mach 2, Lucy's vectors once reached into outer space. By timing her accompanying monologue and comparing the longest vector's length to the curvature of the Earth, its
That
course
math.
reached over 2,400 miles in 20 seconds max.
Wow.
Way longer than Carnage's 2-mile feet.
All this
Yeah.
means her vectors were moving at least 440,000 miles per hour. More than 500 times the speed of sound and 250 times faster than Carnage.
Good
Wow.
luck getting past that. And this was really the biggest hurdle. With Lucy's
Yeah, it does look like he couldn't even touch her.
Carnage's healing powers, it all boiled down to one thing. Who could hit the killing blow first? I mean, Carnage could respawn from scraps, so the only way to beat him for good was to totally vaporize him.
Yeah.
And Lucy had the perfect answer to that. Remember?
It's actually kind of like with Boo in Dragon Ball, like because Boo can regenerate himself from like scraps of himself. So the only way to defeat him was with that spirit bomb, which eradicated everything evil around it. So she literally just had to make sure there was nothing left of him.
Remember that time she hit an island so hard she caused a 9.2 magnitude earthquake
Right.
and a 100-foot tall tidal wave?
Wow.
Such a feat would require an enormous amount of explosive energy, approximately 31,000 tons of TNT.
Way more than what
similar to
Carnage has
atomic
survived.
Hiroshima.
It's literally compared to nuclear fusion in the Elfen Lied manga.
Elfenlied, it's German.
The point is, in order to beat
I'ma keep on saying
Carnage,
Elfen Lied, I don't
Lucy
care.
needed to totally
It's spelled that way, so
obliterate
I'ma say it that
him.
way.
She could do that.
The heat produced within the initial impact of a nuclear explosion can reach temperatures up to 180,000 degrees Fahrenheit, more than 18 times hotter than the surface of the sun.
Okay, reading time. Despite Carnage's ridiculous healing factor, there's no evidence to suggest he could survive complete incineration. True. Also, human blood burns at 1800 degrees Fahrenheit, leaving nothing for the symbiote to regenerate from afterwards.
And to top it off, heat
And also one of his
was
weaknesses was heat too.
Even if Lucy's explosive force was just a fraction of this, it would still have been far too much for him.
She just needed to smack him before he could power through her vectors.
Yeah.
Which chances were pretty slim for that happening anyway, because...
Another way to think of this, both could kill each other in a single fatal hit, and Lucy had many more offensive and defensive options for getting that one hit first. Yeah, that's true. Now that I think about it, that is true.
A bunch of them, and they're so damn fast, hitting Carnage with a big explosion.
Because if Carnage could have actually touched Lucy, he could have infected her and could have ended her there.
Speed, overwhelming presence, and nuclear strength won the day.
She dealt the carnage needed for a total victory and took the lead. There, I said it right, Wiz. Happy?
The winner is Lucy.
Okay, let's see who's next.
And if you enjoyed the fight, you can get a first membership and watch our
Okay, so he's the writer.
Thank you, Chad. And if you want the battle music from this episode, you can get it in the link in the description below. You're not Chad.
Who's next? Transformers, huh? Is that? Yeah, I was about to say, is that Gundam? Okay, Optimus Prime versus Gundam. Okay. Okay, September 5th. Optimus Prime versus Gundam. That's actually a good one. That's a good one. Who would win in that? Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to find out when it comes out. Okay, well, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like my reaction and my commentary, make sure you hit that like button, leave some comments down below, and subscribe for the one time to the channel, and I'm gonna see y'all for the next one.
A nigga handsome and wealthy. Is it cause a nigga cook like a professor?